Here you can see three terminal device. This is three terminal device. One is anode, cathode, gate. So power usually flows from anode to cathode, and power flow we can control using gate. Okay, here the silicon this is 4-layer device: p-type material, n-type material, p-type material, n-type material. So 4 layers are there here. So when you join a p and n-type material, one junction is created, J1, in between n and p, J2, in between p and n, J3. So 3 junctions are existing here. We call this as J1, J2 and J3. This upper p-type is called as anode, and this is called as cathode, and this is called as gate. Okay. So we may be knowing that when you connect a p-type material to n-type material, a barrier potential is established, and or else I can say that depletion region is created. When you, so here also one depletion region is created. Here also depletion region is created. Okay. So this is one such device, practical SCR. Thyristors are a family of power semiconductor devices. Here onwards, our application is to convert power from one form to another. For that, we require several power switches. Those power switches, we are using these power semiconductor devices as power switches. Thyristors are used extensively in power electronic circuits. So this thyristor is a one basic circuit. So if you see SCR, silicon control rectifier, it is a one basic circuits, basic electron power semiconductor devices. It is extensively used, especially in high power application in HVDC, high voltage DC transmission systems. So thyristors are operated as a bistable switches, or two stable switches. One is open and one is closed. Means when it is acting in open switch, there is no current flow through that devices. When it is acting like a closed switch, it will act like a conductor. Ideally, it will act like a conductor. Yeah. But there is a small power loss, or else I can see that small voltage drop, but it is negligible. So we say that it is acting like ideal switch. Thyristor can be assumed as ideal switches for many applications. Thyristor is a 4-layer semiconductor device of PN-PN structure with 3 PN junctions, as we have discussed earlier. It has 3 terminals: anode, cathode and gate. Thyristor is manufactured by diffusion techniques. Here you can see the structures: p-type material, n-type material, p-type material, n. This is cathode, we are using as a gate. So if you split this, so this is p, this and n, and n, I have split it here, n and n, p, p, n. This is very useful to derive the next 2 transistor model of SCR. Using 2 transistor model of SCR, we are explaining the operation of SCR. That's the reason this split section diagram is also very important. Keep that in mind right now. Okay, so this is, you can see here P, this N I have considered as 2 to N, this is P and this is N. Okay, we will come back to this later. Okay, see, first of all we should study the characteristic of the circuits. To study the characteristic of circuits, we need to do an experiment. It's called VI characteristics of SCR. As I told earlier, here onwards you keep in mind, this is anode, this is a symbol of SCR, cathode and gate. Here this is anode, this is cathode. Okay, so first of all you just think about this experimental setup. Okay, here there is a one voltage source. I am connecting between gate and cathode, you call as V1 or anything, VGG or anything, and there is a millimeter multimeter which I am using to measure the current which is flowing in the gate, which is flowing to the gate terminals, and I am using one voltmeter to measure the voltage or potential difference between gate and cathode. Okay, so to measure this current we require, means here anode is connected, anode and cathode is connected to this power supply. Here you can see plus is connected to anode, minus is connected to cathode. We need to measure the current which is flowing through anode towards cathode. So we require one current meter. We are using this as a current meter. See here, it shows a current which is flowing in from anode to cathode in this way. And we need to measure the voltage potential difference between anode and cathode. That's the reason we require one voltmeter. We are connected parallel to the SCR, which is giving you the potential difference between anode and cathode. Listen here, always we are measuring the voltage using voltmeter, so we need to connect parallel to that devices. I will repeat it. So we have connected positive supply to the anode, negative to the cathode, and to measure the voltage drop or voltage in between anode and cathode, we are measuring this, we are using this voltmeter. To measure the current which is passing from anode to cathode, we are using this current meter. Okay, this is a resistor, a small resistance we are using it as a load. We use how small it is, very small resistance. I am injecting the gate current, and if you want to measure that current, we should use this current meter. It is connected, this is a supply which is used to inject the gate current. So in series we are connecting this current meter. We are measuring the voltage which is in between gate and cathode. We require this voltmeter to measure the voltage between gate and cathodes. This is, you can use this current limiting resistance. Yes. So this is an experimental setup. It is required to do this entire experiment. Okay, we will do this experiment step by step. First, assume that I have not connected IG, means here this wire is not connected. This is a gate current, supplying current wire. Assume that this is not connected, means we have not at all used gate. We have disconnected the gate supply. Assume that gate is not connected to anything. Then only this part we need to consider, means anode is connected to positive, cathode is connected to negative. Intention is to make anode more positive than cathode. And to measure the voltage in between anode and cathode, we have used one voltmeter, and to measure the current which is passing to the anode, we have used one ammeter. And this is a load resistance. You assume that you can assume that it is very small. Okay, we'll do this experiment. Our aim is to check or to study the characteristic of SER. And after doing an experiment, we are plotting the IT or I thyristor or I anode. I can say that this is anode current and this is the voltage in between anode and cathode. This is, I am saying that VAK, this is thyristor current, or else you can call as anode current also, IA also you can use it. And we are plotting the current versus voltage in between anode and cathode. The current which is flowing in anode and voltage across anode and cathode. Is connected to positive voltage as I have shown in the previous experimental setup. Anode is connected to positive voltage and this cathode is connected to negative, in the sense negative of the power supply, means we have made anode more positive than cathode. Okay, assume that gate is not connected to anything. It is assumed that is kept open. The P-type material, what are the majority carriers? Holes. These holes are going away from this positive potential. Assume that we are connected positive potential to anode. So these holes will go away from this. So holes will try to cross this barrier potential because of these potentials. So there is a barrier potential, there is a depletion region before we connect a power supply here in equilibrium state. Assume that if we are not connected any power supply to anode and cathode, there is a depletion region here. But when you connect a positive potential here and negative potential here, these holes will go towards this depletion, it will try to cross this depletion region. So you will find charge carriers in these regions. So here onwards I will not call this as a depletion region, where there is a free movement of charge carrier through this junction. So this junction is forward biased. J1 is forward biased when I connect a positive potential to anode. When I connect, okay, similarly here what happens to J3, here we have connected a negative potential, negative of the power supply here. This negative potential, and this is in n-type material, electrons are the majority charge carriers. These electrons again phase will are not attracted here because of ripple force. So these electrons will go away from this negative potential, and these electrons will try to cross this junction. Okay, because of this negative potential, this will try to cross. So you will find the free movements of charge carriers. Again, these holes are going towards this through this junction towards this end side. So you will find a free movement of charge carrier here. There is no depletion region, there is no barrier potential here, in the sense barrier potential effect is not existing here, because this force is more than that. So you will find a free movement of charge carriers here. So this is depletion region will disappear here. So this is for also forward biased. This is also forward biased. So this is acting like a forward biased junction. J1 is forward biased, J3 is forward biased when if you have connected anode with positive potential and cathode with negative potential, as are shown in this picture. Anode is connected to positive potential, cathode is connected to negative potential. If you consider this is an HCR, J1 is forward biased, J3 is forward biased. We will see what happens to J2. See here J2, what happens here is, see here, these are the holes, this will go towards this side, towards N side. So already small depletion region is existing. Because of this applied potential, this depletion region width will increase, because these all holes goes nearer to this junction, they are going away from this junction. So there is no charge carriers, so we call it as a depletion region. Similarly, these electrons, they are trying to move this junction, trying to cross this junction, trying to join with these holes. So they are going away from this junction J2. So already existing depletion region width will increase. So now if you consider wider depletion region is created here, so this junction is acting like a reverse biased diode junction. So I can say that J2 is reverse biased because of the applied voltage, because we have made anode more positive than cathode. We have made anode more positive than cathode. Why? We have connected anode to positive potential and we have connected a cathode to the negative potential. If you connect a SCR like this, assume that gate is not connected. Anode we have connected to positive potential, cathode we have connected to negative potential. So what happens? J1 and J3 is forward biased, J2 is reverse biased. Okay, J1 is forward biased, J3 is forward biased, J2 is reverse biased. If you connect a circuit like this, now what is the current flowing in this circuit in this situation when J1 is forward biased, J3 is forward biased and J2 is forward biased, reverse biased. So if J2 is reverse biased, there is no current flow here. Ideally I should say that it is acting like an open switch, but strictly speaking, whether the current flowing in between anode and cathode is exactly zero or whether it is nearer to zero. So it is not exactly zero, it is nearer to zero. Then there must be some small current which is flowing from anode to cathode. Which current is flowing even though this is reverse biased? Yes, because there is a intrinsic carriers here, intrinsic carrier here, correct? Intrinsic carriers are generated because of the temperature. There is an equal number of intrinsic electrons and holes here, intrinsic holes and electrons. So these electrons here, intrinsic electrons, okay. So intrinsic, because of that temperature dependent carriers, intrinsic carriers, so minority current flow is existing in between this. So that current we call as a leakage current, we call as a leakage current. This leakage current flows from anode to cathode. So a small current is flowing in this means, so now that current will cause and leakage current, that current so small, if you connect a power supply like this, to the across SCR to the SCR, and if you keep get open, so a very small leakage current flows. See, this is a in this characteristic we have shown this very small leakage current is flowing. Listen here, this is in terms of microamps. This is in terms of microamps. This is for one particular value of this. For an example, if you are applying a 5 volts here, if you measure using a voltmeter the voltage in between anode and cathode, what is the value it shows you? If you are connected a 5 volts here, this is exactly open, no current flows here. So what is a volt? Because it is microamps, very less current, you can consider as a 0 only. So the voltage across anode to cathode is 5 exactly. Assume that it is open, it is exactly 5. Because assume that I am saying that 0 current is flowing, 0 voltage drop across this resistance. So whatever voltage you are applying here, this is exactly applied across SCR. So if you are so 5 volt is available across SCR. So that's the reason if you make this as a 5 volts, so 5 volt is applied across anode and cathode. Remember here we are measuring the anode to cathode voltage. We are measuring the anode to cathode voltage. Anode to cathode voltage, which is measured using a multimeter. What is the value this multimeter is showing you? That we have recorded here. If you apply a 5 volt DC supply here, this multimeter will record almost 5 or 4.9999 something. So I will consider as 5. If you make this as a 6, same thing, no changes. J1 and J3 is still forward biased, J2 is still reverse biased. So entire 6 volt is applied in between anode and cathode. So 6. So no current, no voltage drop across this load. I can say that entire thing is given to the switch only, across switch. Okay. So now if you make it 7, so 7 volt is existing across SCR. 7 volt is applied or existing across anode and cathode of SCR. What is the current flowing? It is 0. See, in this graph it is shown above this 0 axis, but think that this is microamps, so I can consider it is almost 0, or a leakage current, ICBO. In transistor you learned ICBO, collected, so similar to that ranges of value. So this is a very small leakage current is flowing, okay, but the whatever voltage you apply here, same voltage is applied here. Assume that you have made it to 35 volt will come here. 35 volt will come here. So how long this continues? When you apply more and more voltage here, what is the changes happens? Anyhow, there is no changes in J1 and J3 because already they are in forward bias. But what happens to J2? J2 depletion region increases because we are applying more and more reverse voltage to the just J2. So in a diode, ordinary diode, we studied that if you apply more and more reverse voltage to an ordinary diode, what happens? Whether it will remain in off state, or any other event happens. Yes, there are two major events happens. The one is avalanche breakdown, or else another one is Zener breakdown. Here we talk more about avalanche breakdown because avalanche effect is more here. Okay, so in one word I can say that when you apply more and more voltage to anode and cathode when gate is open to this junction J2, it is acting like a reverse voltage. It is acting like a more and more reverse voltage we are applying to J2. So junction J2 breakdown happens. Which breakdown? Avalanche breakdown happens in junction J2. whenever breakdown happens, what happens? There is a large carrier flow through junction J2, through junction J2. So current flows from anode to cathode through junction J2 because of this avalanche effect. This, when it happens, when you apply a more and more voltage in between anode to cathode, when gate is open, this happens. So we'll look at the avalanche effect. We'll just briefly go through what is avalanche effect. You might have seen, see, this is a reverse bias diode. You just consider that junction J2, consider that. See here, this depletion region is very wide. So what happens when you are applying a more and more electric field, reverse electric field, the already generated carriers, already existing carriers will get more and more kinetic energy, and it will collide because of more kinetic received, it will receive more and more kinetic energy, so that it will collide with nearby atoms, and it will liberate more and more free electrons. This is an avalanche effect. This will grow like this, just like an avalanche. So this more and more carrier will be generated. See, avalanche breakdown occurs when electrons and holes, they are existing here intrinsic in the depletion regions. When the electrons and holes gain sufficient kinetic energy due to acceleration by electric field. Who is accelerating? The whatever reverse electric field we are applying, no, it is accelerating the electrons and holes. It is giving more and more kinetic energy. It will in between scattering events to cause electron hole pair generation upon colliding with the lattice. Electron hole pairs thermally generated in the depletion regions are accelerated by the external reverse bias. So electrons, intrinsic carriers, get accelerated by the external electric field. Electrons are accelerated towards n side and holes towards p side. These electrons can interact with other atoms. If they have a sufficient energy, can knock off the electrons from these atoms. This process is called impact ionization and leads to production of large number of electrons. This causes a rapid rise in current. The breakdown voltage decreases with increase in dopant concentration. Okay, so whatever this is, we have gone through what is avalanche breakdown. This already we have studied. So I will go back. So when you apply more and more reverse voltage to in between anode and cathode, what happens? Avalanche breakdown happens in junction J2. So junction J2, avalanche breakdown happens in junction J2. So current is passing from J1 to J3. See here, this point we call has at what reverse voltage, reverse in the sense reverse to J2, or else I can say that for what voltage this breakdown happens, we call this as a breakover voltage. We will denote this as VBO. So at this voltage, this avalanche breakdown happens. So high current flows in between from anode to cathode. So current, see here, current increases to this point, So here onwards, junction J2 is acting like a closed switch, in the sense already J1 is forward biased, J3 is forward biased. Now a free movement of carrier is established in J2 also. So all carrier can flow now from anode to cathode freely. So there is no blocking of carriers. So carriers can move from anode to cathode freely. So it is acting like a closed switch, exactly like a wire. It is acting even though there is a small drop, but if you neglect that drop, it is exactly acting like a closed switch. See here, yes, closed switch. So but see here, very important, we have seen that this is current is in y axis. Earlier current is leakage current, it is small, 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 almost same. But when you apply a voltage which is very nearer to breakover voltage, means that is enough to start an avalanche breakdown, the current will start increasing. In y-axis, this value is more than this, correct? Yeah, in y-axis more than this. This is more than previous, more than previous, more than previous, more than previous, more than previous. So now I can say that SCR is in on. SCR is in on. Once SCR turns on, it remains in on. Okay. So this is a way. So this is a way avalanche breakdown will happen, and SCR will change its state from off to on. Earlier, whenever it is an off, whatever applied voltage, same thing whenever it is in SCR is in off, means whenever your applied voltage is less than the breakover voltage, applied voltage is same as, voltage in between anode and cathode is same as applied voltage. When it turns on, it is acting like a conductor. The applied voltage between anode and cathode has changed to very small value. It may be a 0.8 or 0.9 or in and around that. It is very small, you can neglect it, or it is same, because that is an ohmic loss in between anode and cathode. Means whatever small drop it is existing in between anode and cathode, even though it is acting like an on switch, that drop we are shown here. That's the reason whatever this meter is showing here onwards, it is the drop across anode and cathode. It is very small, it is 0.8 or 0.9 voltage. So now we learned that SCR will turn on if you apply an anode and cathode voltage more than breakover voltage. Remember, when you purchase an SCR, first I should check what is the breakover voltage. Meaning here is, if you apply an anode and cathode voltage more than that, SCR may turn on even if you don't apply any gate current. Okay, we'll check. Is it good feature or what? Okay, one thing I will tell you, we will not turn on SCR using this method, because because of this avalanche breakdown, high current will flow if you apply a voltage more than breakover, and if avalanche breakdown happens there, high current will flow through anode and cathode, and this SCR will get damaged. So this way of turn on we don't use practically this, but we should be knowing that if we apply